My name is Rosa Parks, and I am going to talk about the day that I got arrested because I would not give up my seat to a white person on a city bus. And that happened on December the 1st, 1955 in Montgomery, Alabama. Now back in those days, the laws were very different than they are today. And I'm talking about the laws that have to do with African Americans. Back in those days, if you were African American, you could not go to the same school as a white person. And if you were African American, you could not go to the same restaurant as a white person. And if you were African American, you could not use the same public restroom or drinking fountain as a white person. And back in 1955, if you were African American and you wanted to ride a city bus, you had to sit in the back or stand. And if you were African American in 1955 and you wanted to ride a city bus, you had to get on in the front of the bus and pay your money. Then you had to get off the bus and go all the way around to the back door if you wanted to ride that bus. Because they were always trying to keep the black people and the white people separated. They didn't even want a black person to walk through the front of the bus where the white people were sitting. And sometimes when you were waiting at the back door to get on the bus would take off and leave you standing there in the street after you had paid your money. One time I refused to go around to the back door to ride the bus. And that driver evicted me from the bus. He did not let me ride that bus, even after I had paid my fare. Now on December the 1st, 1955, I was waiting at the bus stop to go home. It was evening time and I was very tired from sewing clothes all day long. Now when the bus pulled up to the bus stop, I saw that the driver was the same driver that evicted me from the bus that day. But I didn't care. I got on the bus anyway because I was so tired. I sat in the front row of the colored section. Now after a few stops, a young white man came on the bus. Now the bus was packed. There was not one seat available. That meant that a black person was going to have to get up to give the young white man their seat. Because there was never supposed to be a black person sitting and a white person standing. Only a white person sitting and a black person standing. Now it wasn't the young white man that asked me to give up my seat. It was the bus driver that turned to me, pointed at me and said, "You have to get up." Now I had given up my seat many times before, but on this particular evening, I was especially tired. Tired from sewing clothes all day long, and tired from the ache in my heart. And I had worked for the NAACP. That's the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. And I knew that the law was wrong. So I told that bus driver, no, I will not get up. So then the bus driver pulled on the emergency brake to the bus. And he got up and he came over to me and he said, "I'll have you arrested." And I said, "You may do that." Now right then and there, a few black people got off the bus. I think that they were scared. And in a little while, 2 policemen came on the bus. And they came up to me and one asked me if the bus driver had asked me to stand. And I said, yes. And he said, "Well, why didn't you stand?" And I said, "Because I did not think I had to stand." And then I asked him a question. I said, "Why do you push us around?" And then he said, and I quote, "I do not know." But the law is the law, and you are under arrest. And with that, under arrest, I got off the bus. And there was a police car waiting outside. And one of the policemen opened the back door to the police car, and I got in. Now, people have asked me, was I afraid? I was not afraid. I was more concerned with letting it be known that the law was wrong. And do you know that when a whole bunch of black people heard that I got arrested because I would not give up my seat to a white person on a city bus, they got very, very, very angry. And they got so angry that they decided that they were not going to ride the city buses. And that is exactly what they did. They did not ride the city buses to go to their jobs. They did not ride the city buses to go shopping or to go to parties. They shared their cars or they walked. And for 381 days, the black people of Montgomery, Alabama did not ride the city buses. And after 381 days of the black people of Montgomery, Alabama not riding the city buses, the Supreme Court, now those are the people that made the bad law in the first place, the Supreme Court decided that the law that said that black people have to sit in the back on city buses was wrong. And they changed the law. All because I did what I felt was right. All because I did what I felt was right in my heart. I did what I felt was right in my heart, and that gave other people the courage and the strength to do what they believed was right in their heart. So always do what you believe is right. Always follow your heart. And never let anyone push you in the wrong direction. And thank you. I thank you very much for listening to me today to talk about that very special day, December the 1st, 1955. Thank you.